Hi, friend. Welcome back to Hope in June, a quiet place for anyone walking through infertility or a waiting season. I'm Chandler, and today we're talking about something that can feel especially complicated during this time of year: gratitude. So before we dive in, you know how we do. We're going to take our deep breaths together. Ready? Breathe in, pause, exhale, breathe in, pause, exhale, and last time. Inhale, pause, exhale. All right, I want to check in with you guys before we get started. So what's one small practice that has helped you breathe a little easier this week? So, something that has helped me breathe a little easier this week, I can actually think of two things, so I'll share. So, the first one being taking time for my mental health and moving my body. So, they coincide for me. So, when I'm not active in any kind of way, my mental well-being kind of spirals out of control because I have so many things going on. So, I need some kind of like positive, healthy outlet to like kind of exude some energy. And so I've been doing Pilates for the past 2 months now, and I love it. I really do. But of course, when I'm in that tired season, when I'm like going, I'm like, I don't have time. I'd rather sleep in, go to bed early, don't really want to get out and go travel and go to Pilates, then come back home. Like, I don't want to do all that. But of course, every time I go, I always feel so much better when I go. And so I've started back getting consistent and scheduling my classes, booking them ahead of time, not waiting until the day of, and actually sticking with it. So I have started that back this week. I actually have a class I'm going to this evening that I'm excited about. And it just helps me overall, just my overall mental clarity, mental stability, peace, all of that helps when I am moving my body. So that's something that's helping me. Getting back active and consistent and committed with Pilates is helping me breathe a little easier this week. The other thing that has given me comfort is learning to have a designated like cutoff time. So I've been very, very guilty of being on my phone, working on things for the business or social media related, looking up videos, trying to learn more, and like really, really trying to, of course, progress and consume as much as I can so that I can be better and find out ways that we can grow. But it'll be at like 11:30 at night or midnight or even 10 o'clock at night or first thing in the morning. Like, that's what I'm going towards. And so finding a start time and a cutoff time, more importantly, in my days so that I have that time frame to where I'm doing nothing and I'm actually resting. I'm actually, resting, watching Halloween Baking Championship. If you know me, I love cooking shows. And so right now we're in the season of Halloween Baking Championship, wraps up this week. And then we're going to move into Holiday Baking Championship. I love those shows. I love Is It Cake? I love all of those kind of shows. And so I'm watching like all the specials for like Halloween right now. And then we're going to move into the Christmas ones that I'm very, very excited about. And so having that time to where I can just like consume that, or getting back to reading books and just doing that and doing things that don't serve a purpose other than just they bring me joy and happiness. That has brought me comfort getting back to that, because for the past month, I haven't been doing any of that. And my body was starting to feel it. My mental well-being was starting to feel it. So trying to get back to doing those things, along with, of course, being a business owner, trying to get things off the ground, but taking care of me in the process. So I hope that you are taking time to rest and do things for you as well, because we are moving into the holiday season, the busiest time of the year, as we all know. This time of year is a happy season, a joyful season, but for many people, especially if you are a part of this journey, it can be one that makes you very, very anxious because you're going to be around family. And what's a question that family always loves to ask? Oh, when are you guys gonna have a little one? When are you gonna try again? When are you gonna, all those questions happen and all that advice comes, and just people want to focus on your current situation and what you have going on. And so it can be a time full of high anxiety for sure. A time where you would rather isolate than being around people. And so, with that being said, as we move into this season, so for the month of November, we are going to have a theme. I love themes, especially when it comes to the holidays and these months. And so our theme for the month of November is going to be gratitude and waiting. So finding ways to be grateful even in this waiting season, in this waiting period, because there are a lot of things happening. And there are a lot of things that aren't positive, a lot of things that aren't great, a lot of things that are going wrong, and a lot of things that aren't the way we would like for them to be. So finding some things that we can be grateful for and that we can hold on to even in this waiting season. Now, that does not mean that just because you feel some type of way about your current waiting season doesn't mean you're not grateful. That's not the case at all. But if we can find little things, little moments of gratitude, little things that we can hold on to, it can help carry us through this waiting season, especially during the holidays where you're about to be surrounded by people who are more than likely going to be constantly talking about your situation or asking you for updates and things like that. So finding ways to ground and anchor yourself. So before we get started, let's say our affirmation for this week. Gratitude doesn't erase my pain. It helps me carry it with softness. All right, one more time. Gratitude doesn't erase my pain. It helps me carry it with softness. All right, you guys, let's settle in. So a phrase that I'm sure we have all heard before, especially during this time of the year, like I said, when you're going to be around different family members or people in general, and people are thinking about, joys and miracles and gratitude. It's the season of joy and all those things. And so with that, people know what you have going on. And so they might offer a phrase that might sound familiar to you, and it sounds a little like, you should just be thankful for what you have, or be thankful for where you are. Be thankful for, people telling you, be thankful, be thankful, be thankful. And I can remember two situations actually in particular. So one, this was after our first miscarriage. We were trying to conceive, and we were getting into those holiday months. And so, of course, we still hadn't had a positive, still hadn't had a baby yet. And so we were getting things like, you should just be grateful for your husband, be grateful for the love and family that you all have together. Just you two, you all have a beautiful home, you have a beautiful marriage, just enjoy, be grateful for the time that you have. Be grateful for the freedom that you have. Be grateful for this time that you can have just to spend together and just you two, and not having to worry about the hassle of children and anything like that. Like, just be grateful for your marriage. So that's one thing that I would get a lot. The second one, after I did have my firstborn, I would have conversations with people. They would ask me how I was doing whenever I did get pregnant again. And I was, going through some things mentally, of course, feeling very, very anxious because of the things that I had experienced. I was very anxious, very, very hypersensitive, hyper aware to everything that I was feeling, really nervous and scared that something was going to go wrong. It was just a really highly intense pregnancy. All of them were really after, having a miscarriage. And so I remember someone saying, like, you should be thankful that you are able to get pregnant again. You should be thankful that you are, you have a little one. You should be thankful. I'm like, I am. Like, I remember that made me cry because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to come across like I'm not thankful that I was able to get pregnant, like, or that I was able to have a baby and now I'm pregnant again. Like, but I still, like, I'm anxious. Like, I can't help it. Like, I'm scared. But it didn't, just because I'm scared doesn't mean I'm not grateful. Like, I don't want anybody to think that. And so I really that really made me scared to share how I was truly feeling when people would ask. Even with that close-knit group, people that were closest to me, I was scared to share that because I'm like, I don't want to come across like I'm not grateful, because I thought in my head I couldn't be scared and grateful at the same time. I couldn't be anxious and grateful at the same time. I couldn't be a little nervous and grateful at the same time, is how it was coming across. And that's so not true. Both can exist. They can coexist together. Just because you're grateful for a situation, so say for instance, you are in that trying to conceive period and you are able to get pregnant. But of course, it is nerve-wracking because of all the things that you have experienced up until this point. And so it's hard to negate that because those are true feelings. You can be grateful for where you are currently and also nervous for what is to come because you never walked those waters before, especially in the frame of what you've been through. Like, you've never lived that before. It's new. And so it's okay, and you can feel that, because the flip side of it is, if you were to just be grateful and not approach and deal with these feelings that you're feeling, you will go nuts. You will go crazy. You will go insane. And so it is okay to feel that. The best thing that you can do for yourself during this journey and the things that you're experiencing is to feel them. Acknowledge those feelings, name those feelings, and feel them. Take the time to feel them, because if you don't, you suppress them, they're going to come back up. So it's best to just deal with them and find ways to coexist, to allow those feelings to coexist so that you can deal with them in a healthy way. Also, so for someone that is, say you're trying to conceive and you haven't had a positive test yet, you can still be grateful for where you are, just that you were able to wake up to see another day, because people love to say that. They love to remind you that you should just be thankful that you have another day. And you should. But just because you're sad about your current situation doesn't mean you're not happy to be alive. It doesn't mean that you're not grateful that you were able to see another day. It doesn't mean that you aren't grateful that you have now switched over to an amazing doctor. It doesn't mean you're not grateful that now you have the money to be able to pursue IVF or fertility testing. It doesn't mean you're not grateful just because you are true to what you are feeling, which might be nervousness, which might be anger because of what you had to endure all the way up until this point. It does not mean that you cannot feel both. Like, it doesn't mean one has to happen without the other. So I don't want us to think that going into the season, because you're going to hear a lot of, you should be grateful. You should have gratitude in your heart. Be thankful for where you are, all those things. And you can simply reply, I am. I am. But also, I feel these things as well, and that's okay. You don't have to think you're doing anything wrong, because for me, I thought I was doing something wrong. I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to think just because I talk about my infertility situation, my infertility journey, the things I've experienced, just because I talk about it, people are going to think I'm not grateful for the family I have. If I'm honest with you, that was one thing that kept me from starting this sooner, was my fear of that. If I talk about the things I experienced before when it pertains to infertility and my journey and what I went through, like, who am I to be talking about that? And I have 4 kids. Like, how dare I? Like, I'm how ungrateful of you to be dwelling on the past of what happened to you, and you have these 4 beautiful, healthy children in front of you. I really thought that for a long time, and it kept me from starting this sooner. And that was a lie. I can acknowledge and feel what I feel about my past situation and the things that I've been through, and also be currently grateful for what I have now. Both can exist. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we can move through our journeys in a healthy way. So I want us to completely get out of our heads, okay? So if you take nothing else from this episode, take with you that grief and gratitude are not opposites, okay? They can coexist together. They're not opposites. They can coexist together, and they are both necessary for the part of your healing in this journey, okay? You need both in order to properly heal. You can't, if you're just full of gratitude and not dealing with the grief, you cannot heal. And if you're just dealing with the grief and you can't find anything to be thankful for or grateful for, you can't heal either. You need both. And so we're going to talk about some ways to have both coexist in a healthy way so that we can move through this journey and heal together. So in today's segment, we are going to talk about redefining gratitude while in the waiting, because I want us to get out of our heads, like I said, that they're opposites, that you can't do both, because that's not true. Okay, so we're going to redefine that. So the first thing I want you to do is name the real. Okay, my sister used to say that to me all the time. I told y'all before, she would call me and she would ask me how I was doing. It's funny, she called me this morning and she was asking me how I was doing currently as I'm in my postpartum season, but she was checking in, asking me how I was doing emotionally, physically, mentally, all the things. And I used to have a bad habit of like kind of sugarcoating how I was feeling, because I don't want anybody else to be worried. I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. So I'm good. I'm okay. Even real surface level answers. And so then she would let me talk and she'd be like, okay, now give me the real. Give me the real. Like, tell me, say it, name it. Acknowledge it. Give it a name. Name the real. How are you feeling? So it's okay to admit that this season is unfair. You feel like this shouldn't have happened to you. Why did this have to happen to me? Why am I, of all people, having to go through this? Why do I have to go to the Thanksgiving table and sit with my cousin who is pregnant and had no problems getting pregnant? Why am I having to sit at the table with my in-laws who just had a newborn baby? Like, all these things, you can say that. It's okay. You can feel that, because guess what? Gratitude begins with honesty. The sooner you are honest with yourself and how you are feeling, the sooner you can deal with it, and then you can find a way to be thankful in spite of how you're feeling. So name the real. That's the first thing I want you to do. Name the real. Name how you are truly feeling and get it out. The second thing I want you to do is look for small, steady things. So this might be a warm meal, a kind word, the sun rising, whatever, some kind of small, steady thing that is consistently happening that can serve as that anchor to remind you that you're still here. You're still here. You're still fighting. You're still living. You're still here to see another day. And y'all, that is enough to be thankful for. I know what you want. I know what you're trying to achieve. I know where you're trying to get to. I know. But find that small, steady thing for you to hold on to serve as your anchor. To serve as your anchor to remind you, I'm still here. I have endured some of the hardest days of my life. And guess what? I'm still here to fight another day. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still here to keep walking. I'm still here to try again. I'm still here to keep going. I'm still here. I might be walking a little slow. I might be a little beat up. I might be dragging myself along, but I'm still here. So find those small, steady things to help you anchor in that truth. And then the third thing I want you to do is practice gentle acknowledgement. Sometimes positivity can feel like a force a little bit. Like it makes me cringe when you have people, and again, I used to be guilty of this, so that's why I can say it. When you are in a season of despair, and I mean despair, and y'all know if you're watching this, then you're part of that community, you have been in a season of despair. And when somebody asks you how you're doing, or they're checking in with you, and it's that close group, it's that close-knit group. So you can be honest with them. You don't have to fake the funk. You can be honest and you can be real. And your answer is, I'm dealing with it, but everything happens for a reason. It's all going to work out for the good. It's all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. Yes, absolutely. That is true. 110%. But sometimes when you force that positivity, you're doing more damage and hurt to yourself than good. Instead, I had to train myself, because again, I was that person. So I'm not talking about anybody but myself. I was that person that just would spit off these positive phrases that came easy to my mind. I would just spit them off when people would ask me how I was doing, because I didn't want to hear from you. So I'd just rather give it back to you first. So I didn't want to hear you tell me, oh, just, in due time, or when the time is right, it will happen when it's supposed to, all those things. I would just say it because I didn't want to hear from somebody else. So instead, but of course, I'm stuffing down how I truly feel when I need to acknowledge it and deal with it so that I can move on in a healthy way. That's why it took so long for me to heal fully, to fully really heal from this stuff, because I was not doing that. And so instead of forcing positivity, a way that you can respond or talk to people when they ask you, like, today's a hard day. I'm struggling today, but I'm thankful that I am here to breathe another day. Or I remember saying this a lot. I'd be like, I'm breathing. And I mean that. All I'm doing today is breathing. I'm here enough to breathe. And that's all I got. And that's enough. That's enough. If that's all you can do, if all you're able to do today is breathe and just be and nothing else, guess what? You were able to breathe and you were able to just be. And that is a beautiful thing. Okay? Because that means you're still here. That means you are still here. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's okay. You're going to have those days where that's all you're able to do. You have nothing else to give. And that's okay. But you're able to deal. That's part of that healing process. It's not pretty. It's not a pretty process. It's an ugly process. It's a hard process. But it's a process that's needed in order to make it to the other side. So as we're gearing up and heading into that holiday season, I want you to go ahead and start thinking about how you can redefine that gratitude, okay? So I need you to name the real. Look for those small, steady things that we talked about that are going to help anchor you, and then practice that gentle acknowledgement. For me, that was the hardest. That was the hardest thing, because I was like, oof. I don't want people, that's letting people know how I really feel. And I don't want anybody to know that because it's not cute. But it helped me. It helped relieve how I was feeling to be able to say that so I can move on and move past it, move through it. So I want you to do that for me this month. Practice that. Like I said, we're a couple weeks away from Thanksgiving. You're going to be surrounded by a lot of family that loves you and they want nothing but the best for you. They don't like seeing you hurting. But they know that the hurting is part of the process and they can take it. And if they can't, then you can give them one of those gentle rebukes that we talked about. And that's okay too. So that is it for today. Oh my goodness, that flew by. I feel like we've been flying through these episodes more and more as we go through. But again, I'm really excited about this month and talking about gratitude. And so we're going to do a mini series that I'm so excited about. We're going to start that this week. So every Friday, another episode is going to release. So be sure to turn on your post notifications. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel as well as following us on all of your favorite podcast apps so that you will not miss out on the announcement of our new mini series that will be coming this month every single Friday. And then, of course, if you want to remain plugged in to what we have going on within the Hope in June community, you can subscribe to the Hope Letter. So it is our weekly companion to go along with our weekly episode. It also includes your affirmation, a journal prompt, and a resource every now and then. And then if you really want to dive deeper into this community and have someone to walk alongside with you, have access to those resources, early access, have more deeper discussions, bonus content, all the things, then consider joining our online community on Patreon. So the links to join will be in the show notes as well as the description box below. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. It's a new month. Everybody breathe. We're walking through. We made it. We made it to a new month. That is something to be grateful for, excited about. But again, you can still feel how you feel about your current season, but also be grateful that you are here. And remember, even when gratitude feels hard, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it bravely. All right, you guys, take a deep breath, carry a little light with you, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye.